I transmigrated into a book as the villainous second female lead, and as soon as I woke up, I was handed a divorce agreement. Wenna, she's back. Just sign and leave quickly, don't let her see you. I glanced at the amount on the check and immediately understood. Lucien's first love had returned, and he was telling me to step aside. I signed right away. This stand-in role? Whoever wants it can have it. The divorce agreement was signed, and there was still a month left in the cooling-off period. I lay on the spacious bed in the villa, my emotions tangled and complex. Having transmigrated into a novel as the villainous second female lead, I quickly adapted to life here. In the original story, the second female lead was obsessed with the male protagonist, my ex-husband, and repeatedly caused trouble, eventually kidnapping him to threaten him. In the end, she was blown to bits, leaving no remains. Thinking of this, I covered my bank card and let out a long sigh as I looked at the balance on my phone. There are plenty of fish in the sea, it's just men. With money and a house, why fear being without a husband? Going against the male lead, how misguided must one be? I, Wenna, am a normal woman, clear-headed and absolutely not the type to do such things. The papers are signed, I'll take it slow. Life still has to go on. Just as I was about to sleep, my phone rang. The caller ID said husband. Lucien calling? Could he be having second thoughts? I haven't even had time to enjoy the money yet. When I answered, a cold, distant voice came through. Wenna, take all your things and leave. Rosanna will be upset if she sees you. Then just throw them away. I was about to say, but thinking it over, I decided against it. Why not take them if they're free? Lucien may be a bit cold, but he's generous. The things he bought me are actually quite valuable. I cleared my throat lightly and said, all right, I'll come over right away. Afraid he might change his mind, I hung up and headed out immediately. When I arrived at the villa, I was surprised to find Lucien was there too. He wore a finely tailored black suit, his calves sleek and straight, casually leaning against the sofa with a deep, penetrating gaze. This Lucien was cold and noble. In the book, Wenna's grandfather saved Lucien's father, which is why the two could marry. Otherwise, how could a small, modest family like the Windsors possibly marry into the Lucien family? I shook my head, deciding to forget it and just pack up. I went upstairs to the bedroom, pushed the door open, and found the room cold and quiet. The wardrobe was filled with designer clothes for all seasons, some still with the tags untouched. They've really made a fortune. The new clothes were set aside separately, they could fetch a good price later. The rest were everyday wear, saving a lot on wardrobe expenses. In the drawer, there were more than a dozen watches and diamond cufflinks. The other bits and pieces, though I didn't understand much, looked expensive judging by the logos. I packed all my clothes and accessories into 8 full boxes. Just as I was about to leave, an inexplicable tightness gripped my chest. Unable to resist, I sat down on the edge of the bed and, as if guided by some unseen force, bent down to pull out a cardboard box from underneath. When I opened it, inside was a diary and a photo album. What is this? January 1st, Lucien. Today I finally met him. Father said he is my fiancé. I didn't expect him to be so handsome. I think I might be falling for him. January 5th. The Kingsley family looks down on me. Lucien talked to me and said we're just a nominal couple. It hurt a little, but I still agreed. As long as I can see him, that's enough. March 11th. We got married. Lucien chose the date, saying it coincided with the company's 10th anniversary, so we held the ceremony together. I had no objections. On March 12th, Lucien came to me with an agreement, stating that once that person returns, I must leave. I didn't want to sign it, but faced with his gaze, I gave in. Inside, it was all Wenna's records of the little moments between her and Lucien. After reading it, I felt a knot in my heart. What is this? A total doormat substitute. Lucien was cold-faced all day, yet Wenna managed to stay with him for 3 years. Now that the real one is back, she has to disappear and step aside. She's probably furious, just my luck to be caught in the middle. I shook my head, put the diary back, and glanced at the photo album again. When I opened it, I was stunned. It was all Lucien, sitting, standing, scolding, sleeping, every single picture. This Wenna really did love him. I thought she was just a jealous, obsessive type. But no, her love ran deep to the bone. There were notes alongside the album, detailing Lucien's likes and dislikes down to the smallest detail. But honestly, Lucien is handsome and rich, who wouldn't like him? Still, one has to know their limits and quit while they're ahead. I packed all my things, called a truck, and just as I was coming downstairs, I saw a Cullinan pull up outside. A woman stepped out of the car. She was about 1.7 meters tall, with delicate features and a graceful figure. She looked somewhat melancholic and a bit pale. Her eyebrows and eyes resembled mine somewhat, though I was much healthier and more vibrant than she was. "So you're Wenna? Thank you for taking care of Lucien these past few years." "Got it, this is the heroine, Rosanna." I forced a smile. "You're welcome. Lucien and I look out for each other, we're husband and wife, after all." Her face visibly darkened, and I sneered inwardly. Lucien and I haven't even gotten our divorce papers yet, and this woman shows up at the door. Just as I was about to speak, Lucien's startled voice came from behind me. "Rosanna. What are you doing here?" A gust of wind, and he rushed past me straight toward Rosanna. In front of me, he embraced her, then turned to look at me. "Why aren't you leaving yet?" His gaze was cold and sharp. I couldn't help but scoff. "Lucien, can't wait, huh? If not for yourself, think about the company. If someone sees or photographs this, Miss Rosanna will become the other woman. After all, we haven't gotten the divorce papers yet." Lucien's face darkened with displeasure, while Rosanna frowned, her eyes sharp and calculating. I met their gazes without a shred of fear. Lucien's expression was grim. "Wenna, you promised." "Yes, I agreed, but I also have my pride. If you want a divorce, then just wait obediently. I'm not some bootlicker, especially seeing those two hugging right in front of me. I can't tolerate that no matter how useless I am." Before Lucien could speak, Rosanna pulled him along and said, "First, you misunderstood. Lucien and I haven't seen each other for 3 years. Today is just to catch up, and there are quite a few friends here. If you'd like, why not join us? The friends of the male and female leads are naturally from the upper echelon. If you can't fit in, don't force it." "No thanks, I have other things to do, but let me remind you," I pointed at Rosanna, "men and women are different, your circle is pretty messy, so watch yourself." After speaking, I looked at Lucien. He should understand my meaning, step back, and keep his distance from Rosanna. Rosanna's face darkened in an instant. She looked at me, her eyes filled with icy frost. I snorted coldly and drove the truck straight to my villa. This was the villa Lucien had left under my name. With these clothes and accessories, the future wouldn't be difficult. I sold all the new clothes to a second-hand store at 80% off, earning $300,000. The remaining accessories were treated the same, none kept, and my bank card balance was replenished once again. To have this much money after a divorce, I could finally relax. However, the work still needed to be done. The original self worked at the Kingsley Family Company. Now that I'm divorced, should I continue or resign? I won't resign, let him fire me, then I can still get a payout. Anyway, since I've already transmigrated into this book, suffering is out of the question, I just have to make money. But the heroine's aura is even stronger than I thought. After one night, the trending searches exploded. Lucien called me early in the morning, shouting, "Wenna, did you do this on purpose?" I was stunned, and only after a long moment did I respond, "What did you say?" "You did it on purpose yesterday, didn't you? If I find out you hired someone to do this, you'll know the consequences." Before I could say a word, he hung up. I was completely baffled, staring at the notifications on my phone, and then I understood. Someone had taken photos of me moving, and in the pictures, Lucien and Rosanna were also visible. I don't know which paparazzo took such clear shots. The headline read, Kingsley Group CEO divorces, suspected first love mistress takes over. Lucien is the Kingsley family's most promising heir, and my marriage to him was just a formality. Not many people outside knew, but everyone in the circle was clear about it. If the paparazzi exposed it, who knows which careless one it was. Right now, Rosanna has become the target of public scorn, and I've also been caught in the crossfire. After thinking it over, I called Lucien, but the line was always busy. With no other option, I sent him a message. I didn't want to complicate things further. Lucien didn't reply, but the online sentiment started to shift. Rosanna and Lucien were each other's first love and are recognized by a university as the model couple. That woman is the real homewrecker. My aunt works as a housekeeper for the Kingsley family. She said Wenna forced Lucien into marriage, otherwise, how come there was no wedding? 3 years ago, Rosanna left because she had no choice. She had a car accident and couldn't make it back. Yeah, I was wondering how Rosanna could possibly interfere. Turns out she was being set up all along. Wenna is truly disgusting. Has Lucien finally gotten rid of that trashy woman? Sweet relief after all the hardship. Rosanna ended up looking like the lovesick fool, while I became the villain who stops at nothing to achieve her goals. Occasionally, someone would defend me with a fair comment, only to be quickly attacked by those hateful remarks until they deleted their accounts. I was boiling inside. It's the pot calling the kettle black. So much passion, where was it 3 years ago? Having a car accident isn't the same as being dead, couldn't she have called? Now she's just pretending to be so devoted. Lucien didn't reply to me. I clenched my fists tightly. If this matter isn't resolved, I won't let this marriage go. Before I could find Lucien, the Windsor family came knocking first. I was just about to eat when the front door was slammed so hard it shook the whole house. Who could be causing trouble at a time like this? I opened the door to see a middle-aged couple glaring at me with anger. My heart skipped a beat. A wave of unease stirred deep inside. Wenna, you really have some nerve. You dare to move out, but where is Lucien? What are you standing there for? Your mother and I have been looking for you everywhere, and here you are, sitting down to eat. It turned out to be Wenna's parents. Speaking of which, in the original story, Wenna's parents only used her. If they had shown her more care, Wenna wouldn't have felt so resentful and ended up on such a desperate path. But now that I am Wenna, I certainly won't let them get their way. Sitting at the table, I was quietly eating. The woman in front of me suddenly slammed her hand on the table. How can you still have the mood to eat? What else am I supposed to do? If you have something to say, just say it. If you came here just to scold me, it's not necessary, I don't want to hear it. No sooner had she finished speaking than she exploded. I'm telling you, Wenna, this mess is all your fault. If you don't go apologize, I won't let you off. Yeah, Wenna, the Kingsley family cut off our supply. You know your brother's little company depends on the Kingsley family. Now that things have come to this, we're too ashamed to face anyone. The two of them sang in harmony, and I was truly disappointed. It seemed neither of them could survive this, only I had the power to turn the tide. It's not me causing trouble, it's Lucien who wants a divorce. So stop prying around, he won't turn back anyway. Finish eating and leave, this house won't be safe either. Hearing this, both of them were dumbfounded, instantly furious. Wenna, we had a marriage certificate when we got married. If the Kingsley family wants a divorce, we'll just release the certificate and see how he manages. A marriage certificate? I couldn't help but raise an eyebrow. There's such a thing. You've read all the comments online, right? Rosanna went from being the homewrecker to a true love-struck fool. You think a marriage certificate means anything? Believe me, if you release that certificate, it won't just be me disappearing overnight from this world, who knows, maybe even you will vanish just as quickly. My advice is for you to keep your heads down and behave. I wasn't speaking lightly. The Kingsley family's power in this city is far beyond what our family can match. After hearing this, my parents couldn't help but feel a bit afraid. Then they glanced at me, silently lowering their heads to eat. For a moment, the living room fell into a calm silence. After dinner, I saw them out, then looked back at the villa, a plan forming in my mind. I can't keep this house either, otherwise, it'll only bring more trouble later on. I contacted an agent to list the villa for sale. Looking at the cold, lifeless house, I thought of Lucien. He still hasn't replied to me, but instead, my phone keeps flooding with a barrage of abusive messages and numerous harassing calls. I didn't want to pay any attention at first, but after seeing my parents off and sitting at home organizing documents, I heard a commotion outside the door. Squinting to see, I had no idea which obsessed fan had shown up. She even tried to throw paint on me. Fortunately, the security guards restrained her and took her to the police station. I stood at the door watching her as the woman screamed like a madwoman, "Wenna, you won't die a good death." I couldn't take it anymore and called Lucien directly. After ringing more than 10 times, he finally answered with a cold voice, "Have you caused enough trouble?" Rosanna's return this time represents the Crawford family. She's cooperating with our Kingsley family, and if we don't keep things stable. I impatiently cut him off. "Lucien, your plans have nothing to do with me. But let me remind you, during the divorce cooling-off period, as long as I don't file the paperwork, this marriage won't end. If you keep letting them throw dirt on me, don't blame me, I won't give anyone face. I'm giving you 1 day to handle all the online comments. If you don't clear things up, I won't hesitate to help you." After saying that, I hung up immediately. Damn it, I have my limits too. Throwing dirt on me. Even if I came from a book, that doesn't mean they can treat me like this. Besides, everyone knows who the real mistress is. I don't know if my harsh words scared him, but Lucien quickly appeared online and posted just one sentence: "I hope everyone will stop cyberbullying." This only led netizens to praise him for being handsome and kind-hearted, once again pushing me into the eye of the storm. I had my parents give me the marriage certificate, buying it out for $3 million. It hurt to spend that money, but there was no other way. This debt would be charged to Lucien. With the marriage certificate in hand, it was personally written by the old master of the Kingsley family, complete with his private seal. I truly feel sorry for the old master. Though you've passed, I still have to drag you out to take the bullet. But who told them to push people around so much? However, now is not the time, let the bullets fly a while longer. Perhaps feeling confident of victory, Rosanna actually showed up at this moment, accompanied by an agent. After some time apart, Rosanna's aura had changed again, aloof and imposing, radiating noble elegance. "I'm buying this house." The moment he spoke, it was impossible to refuse. I chuckled lightly. "You really have a lot of money. 30% more than your asking price. I don't want Lucien's things to fall into your hands. After you sell the house, please leave this city." It would have been fine if he hadn't said anything, but now that he did, I really wasn't going to back down. "Sorry, I'm not selling to you." As expected, Rosanna frowned slightly when she heard this and made a gesture. I knew every time she made that gesture, it meant she was determined to succeed. I raised a finger and shook it. "Rosanna, no deal. If you want to buy the house, have Lucien come. Otherwise, don't even think about it." Rosanna's gaze was displeased, radiating a chill that scared the agent into silence. "Wenna, do you really think I wouldn't dare lay a hand on you? Rosanna, were you really abroad because of a car accident and missed the wedding?" At these words, Rosanna's expression suddenly changed. I couldn't help but shake my phone. "Your itinerary, others might not know, but I'm fully aware. If you don't want to provoke me into a fight to the death, it's best you don't show your face in front of me. Get lost." Rosanna clenched her back teeth, glaring at me with indignation, but in the end, she left. This woman really thought I was a pushover. Lucien divorcing me is one thing, but fighting over the assets? I won't stand for that. The vast Kingsley family tried to brush me off with 30 million and a villa. I agreed before for the money's sake. But now, taking back the villa? Sorry, I won't accept that. Besides, the diary clearly records that this villa was where Wenna and Lucien first met. The backyard is filled with roses personally planted by Wenna. This was profoundly significant for Wenna. I had possessed her body and deeply felt the immense terror of losing the villa. Rosanna wanted the villa precisely because of the rose garden here. She knew Wenna's feelings for Lucien and wouldn't allow anyone to covet it. So she wanted to destroy it. In fact, Rosanna was even more ruthless than I had imagined. When the deal fell through, she simply set it on fire. By the time I realized something was wrong, thick smoke had already spread into the room. Fortunately, the security guards discovered it in time and put out the fire. I had already fainted by the time they rescued me. When I woke up again, I was in the hospital. Lucien was at my bedside. Seeing that I was awake, he said calmly, "You're all right now, so I'll be going." I grabbed his wrist tightly. Lucien, it was her. We both knew exactly who she referred to. Lucien shoved me away. "Wenna, I never thought you'd set Rosanna up by arson." Set her up? I laughed in disbelief. "Think whatever you want, but don't regret it later." Lucien's face darkened as he slammed the door behind him. I was baffled. Is this the male lead? How could such a thoughtless person be the protagonist? Did he really want me to reveal the evidence and drag him through the mud? A day passed, and Lucien started making moves to take down the trending topic. I knew this was just for show. In reality, the Kingsley family was already growing dissatisfied with him. Marrying me was only to stabilize the situation, and now wanting a divorce was definitely not a wise move. I found Lucien's cousin Alan. He swirled his glass of red wine, a half-smile playing on his lips as he looked at me. "Wenna, I underestimated you." The Kingsley family looked down on me, but even an ant can have its day. I pushed a stack of documents across the table. "If you want to win, it's all up to you now." Alan opened the folder and glanced through it. His eyes immediately lit up. "Reliable?" "Of course." These past 3 years by Lucien's side, I wasn't just keeping his bed warm. I've checked everything I could. Even though I knew he had someone in his heart and had won the favor of the young lady, Wenna couldn't help but feel jealous of that woman. She used all her connections to investigate Rosanna, and by some twist of fate, she died, allowing me to take over. I never intended to do this, but unfortunately, Rosanna wouldn't let me be. The Windsor family company is already on the brink of bankruptcy, and I'm next in line. Alan raised an eyebrow. There's certainly sincerity, but could Lucien really collapse? Rosanna is still around. Don't worry, she won't last long. Leave this to me. Alan smiled at me, and the two of us raised our glasses in a toast. I had originally planned to just take the money and back off, but Lucien, blinded by love, insisted on protecting Rosanna and almost burned me alive. Well, don't blame me for fighting back. After leaving the private club, I sorted through everything that had happened during this time. I just posted a wedding photo and the marriage certificate online, instantly blowing up the trending searches again. Netizens flooded my social media account. "Oh my God, wasn't it you forcing the marriage? Not even divorced yet? So does that mean Rosanna was the homewrecker?" Rosanna wouldn't be the homewrecker, it's obviously you trying to whitewash yourself. Whether her feelings are genuine or not, Lucien and Wenna have indeed not separated. Lucien cheated during his marriage. During this period, Rosanna and Lucien have been inseparable, like conjoined twins. Whether in public or at private gatherings, they have been photographed together many times. Not to mention, they always act intimately whenever they appear. Rosanna wears a look of pure happiness, as if to say, "This is my man." Her die-hard fans have even edited numerous videos for her. The scenes are simply too beautiful, effectively nailing Rosanna and Lucien to the cross of shame. As for me and Lucien, it was an arrangement made by our parents and matchmakers. There was no forced marriage at all, it was entirely the Kingsley family who came knocking on our door. The marriage certificate is ironclad proof. Some netizens even doubted that we had no wedding, but then an anonymous user posted photos from the wedding. Although it was held together with the company's anniversary celebration, all the proper ceremonies were there. I don't know who this enthusiastic netizen is, but they did a fantastic job. The online buzz kept growing, and Lucien couldn't sit still. He kept calling me frantically, but I didn't answer. Eventually, he showed up in person. The villa caught fire, so I had to stay in a hotel. Lucien barged in while I was soaking in the bathtub. As soon as he came in, he immediately turned away, trembling with anger. "Wenna, stop talking nonsense and delete your posts." I clicked my tongue in disbelief. "You all schemed against me online before, Rosanna sent people to burn down my villa, and now you want to silence me? Lucien, you're not sincere. If you're asking for a favor, you need to have the attitude of someone asking." Lucien took a deep breath. "I'll give you 50 million. You clear your name and say it was you who forced the marriage, that Rosanna wasn't involved." He really dared to say that for Rosanna. I replied, "Lucien, don't you get it? Right now, you have no right to set conditions. As long as I don't agree, no one's going to have it easy. You don't even care that the Windsor family is bankrupt." I got out of the bathtub, dressed, stood behind him, wrapped my arms around him, and whispered in his ear, "The Windsor family? None of my damn business." He shuddered all over, never expecting me to say something like that. I held his waist tightly and sneered in his ear, "Lucien, it's not too late to regret now. How about breaking up with Rosanna and getting back together with me?" I deliberately tested him, giving him one last chance. Lucien suddenly pushed me away and glared at me fiercely, "Don't even think about it. Rosanna won't let you off." "Fine then. I want to see what trump card your Rosanna still has. You can leave now. You're almost divorced, yet you still want to sneak a peek at me bathing? Rosanna would misunderstand, and that wouldn't be good." Lucien turned around in a fury and left. I couldn't help but smile, pulling out my phone to send a message. It was time to close the net. Lucien couldn't deny it, whenever Rosanna spoke up online, she was immediately met with verbal attacks. She tried doing a live stream to explain herself, but soon the flood of netizens swarmed in to teach her a lesson. Some even zoomed in close, accusing her of interfering in our marriage. The marriage contract and certificate were undeniable facts. No matter how much Rosanna tried to spin it, she couldn't change that, so she simply stopped speaking. The more silent she remained, the more it confirmed her guilt. I also timely released the outrageous videos of Rosanna abroad. This girl wasn't exactly chaste for Lucien. Overseas, she was proudly surrounded by men on all sides. I even specially packaged the videos and sent them to Lucien, hoping they could calmly talk things over. Alan was in a great mood drinking with me. Don't be fooled by Lucien's tough exterior, he's actually a neat freak. I bet the times he's been with you are few and far between, right? After getting together with Rosanna, it was like the sky fell and the earth cracked, a blazing fire. Who would have thought Rosanna was such a total scumbag? I couldn't help but laugh. In the novel, Rosanna was the heroine and a domineering CEO, with countless men clinging to her. How could she possibly remain chaste for Lucien? To her, as long as she didn't marry, those men were just passing guests, nothing more than playthings. Alan knocked on the table. "When are you planning to leave? There are only 7 days left until the deadline. You need to hurry up." Alan understood, then dropped another bombshell. These were video and photos from a hospital abroad, taken on the day of Rosanna's wedding 3 years ago. On that wedding day, Lucien had called Rosanna, even saying he was willing to run away from the wedding if she came. Unfortunately, Rosanna was having a wild time with another man in a hotel and ended up being rushed to the hospital. To convince Lucien, she even used a car accident as an excuse. Now, with the devoted lover image shattered, Lucien was trembling with anger, having a huge fight with Rosanna, which was even caught by the paparazzi. Watching Rosanna choke Lucien in the camera, his face shocked and hurt, I surprisingly felt no sympathy. Instead, I opened a bottle of red wine. "Fortunes turn like a wheel, Lucien, do you see clearly now? This is your first love. All that childhood sweetheart nonsense, all that growing affection over time, it's nothing but lust at first sight. Rosanna is no gentle second female lead. In her world, men exist only as subordinates to women. Even though Lucien was groomed as the heir, to Rosanna, that meant nothing. Lucien couldn't accept Rosanna's betrayal, and Rosanna couldn't tolerate Lucien's autocratic rule. These two clashed head-on, with neither backing down or softening their words. Naturally, it couldn't last. When I saw Lucien, he was soaked through, wrapped in wet clothes, standing at the door. The moment he saw me, he lunged forward. I took 2 steps back, and Lucien lunged forward, missing me completely, his face full of hurt. "Wenna, she deceived me, and even you don't want me anymore?" Just a few days apart, and Lucien seemed to have aged a decade. The once icy-cold man was now gaunt, drenched through. It was raining outside, yet he had barged in like this, no doubt seen by many. But I didn't care. "Lucien, I'm not a garbage dump. Why regret it now?" My words stunned him. "Wenna, we're still husband and wife. Why do you have to be like this?" "Husband and wife? What a joke. Seeing Rosanna's true colors, and now regretting it, so she comes to me? Disgusting." Lucien looked at me in disbelief. "You have to understand, no matter what he did before, I would always forgive him. Especially seeing him in such a sorry state, I would definitely feel heartbroken. But I'm not really Wenna, and with his attitude, I just think he deserves it." Lucien obviously couldn't accept this version of me. He quickly grabbed my hand. "Wenna, I was wrong, I misjudged you. Can you forgive me?" I showed no expression. "You think I should forgive you just because you were wrong? Lucien, no one waits around for you. Wenna, you don't want me anymore? You said you would love me no matter what." I raised a finger and shook it. "If you had said that to me a month ago, I would have told you I still loved you. But now, I find you disgusting." Lucien staggered a couple of steps, then looked at me, his lips trembling. "I didn't. Are you trying to tell me you didn't sleep with that woman? Emotional cheating is still cheating. I don't care how you justify yourself, but as far as I'm concerned." I pointed to my chest. "There's no room left for you here." "Impossible." Lucien lunged at me wildly, his hand gripping my arm tightly, causing me to wince in pain. Then I looked at him. "Why bother? It can't be, it can't be. I don't believe we'll just miss each other like this. Wenna, you still love me, right? I'll change. Don't be foolish, just go." I pushed him out, handing him the diary and photo album from before. "Let's part on good terms. Remember to come to the Civil Affairs Bureau the day after tomorrow, or I'll reveal even more explosive stuff." Lucien took the items and glanced at them briefly, his eyes vacant. I closed the door expressionlessly. This man, though handsome, was clueless, stupid, and wicked. I definitely don't want him. 2 days later, Lucien showed up at the Civil Affairs Bureau on time, looking even more haggard. He was still hoping to make one last attempt with me. "Wenna, can we not get a divorce?" "I'm sorry, we can't." I refused him without hesitation. His face immediately darkened. I smiled, patted his shoulder, and went inside. 10 minutes later, holding the bright red divorce certificate, I let out a long breath, waved at him, and turned to leave. Lucien grabbed me. "We can start over. No one waits for you in the same place." I could clearly feel the soul within my body tremble, then find relief. It seemed the real Wenna had seen through it all and had given up. Lucien neither wanted nor was willing to let go, but how could I allow myself to be entangled with that man any longer? Next, I released the divorce certificate, once again pushing both of us onto the trending searches. Netizens flooded in. "No way," the follow-up actually came. "Wenna, you really got divorced? Congratulations on finally getting rid of that scumbag. Wenna, I apologize for having insulted you before. Wenna, how much money did you get from divorcing Lucien? Can you reveal it? The netizens really care about me. There are quite a few paid trolls among them, trying to frame me, wanting to see how much benefit I took from the Kingsley family." I just smiled. The inspection report from the fire department clearly confirmed that my house was deliberately set on fire. The arsonist has been caught and is currently on trial. I can't say much, but I took a photo of the house, now charred black, to tell them that I am homeless. Everyone started to discuss it, and Rosanna was pushed into the spotlight. Anyone with eyes could see that this fire was closely linked to her. This guy is really vicious. If he can't have it, he strikes hard. Punish the culprit severely. I don't even know what Lucien is thinking, actually liking Rosanna. At first, I thought Rosanna was quite pretty, but the more I look, the more I find her sharp and bitter. Rosanna's reputation took another hit. Alan also began to make his move at the right moment. Lucien was questioned by the board over the divorce, and the projects under his charge all suffered varying degrees of collapse. Alan leapt up, swallowing his shares, and using the excuse of damaging public image, he joined forces with other directors to oust him. Lucien completely fell from grace, and there was no way to resist. A servant from the old mansion secretly told me that Lucien had started selling houses. His deficit was too large, and the board demanded he bear his own profits and losses. It looks like he's going to have to sell quite a few properties this time. I'm very glad I divorced him, otherwise, I'd have to bear half of this debt. Things didn't go well for Rosanna either. She returned from abroad, originally hoping to use the opportunity of reconciling with Lucien to elevate the Crawford family to new heights. Unexpectedly, it backfired completely and exploded instead. The Crawford family's real estate company was exposed for using substandard materials and even injuring workers. It wasn't really a big deal at first, just a matter of paying compensation, but unfortunately, Rosanna, accustomed to her lofty status, actually ordered her bodyguards to attack those causing trouble. The incident was caught on camera by reporters just as the city was undergoing new construction and filming promotional footage. Those in charge saw it and demanded severe punishment. Overnight, the Crawford family's reputation plummeted. Rosanna was also arrested. It's said that during the arrest, she put on airs, claiming to be the CEO of the Crawford family and demanding lawyers step in to punish the masterminds behind the scenes. I took the opportunity to spend a little money to push her onto the trending list, and Rosanna became the target of public outrage. Various legal experts from different fields started educating her on the law. I shook my head. As the domineering female lead, under the original author's hand, she could act recklessly, even breaking the law without consequence. But under my influence, this world began to slowly normalize, and everything started to get back on track. Rosanna spent a fortune to get out, compensating the injured parties over $2 million, and had to tear down the already constructed building to rebuild it from scratch. This was another huge expense, and the building's owners spontaneously gathered, supervising every day, ready to call the police at the first sign of any mistake. Rosanna was miserable beyond words. Seeing this, I smiled, and a transfer notification popped up on my phone. Alan had sent me $100 million, the bargaining chip I had demanded when we first partnered. With the money, I bought myself a spacious flat, then started taking orders on my own. Life was simple yet fulfilling. The next time I heard from them was half a year later, when the Crawford family conglomerate went bankrupt. During those 6 months, I saw the female lead being dragged down from her pedestal, and I couldn't help but feel a jolt of surprise. I hadn't expected my presence to cause the original world to collapse like this. I was a little scared. Could it be that because the male and female leads fell, I would be erased as well? I nervously got through those 6 months and found that nothing seemed to affect me. I immediately breathed a sigh of relief. After Rosanna's bankruptcy, there was no more news of her, and I didn't care. When Alan invited me out to dinner, I happened to run into Lucien. He wore a scowl, and when he saw me, he was momentarily stunned before quickly recovering. "You two actually teamed up to screw me over." Alan shrugged. "You made your bed, now lie in it. You had a good hand but played it terribly, that's your own problem." I smiled, while Lucien seemed unwilling to accept this fact and rushed over to confront me. "Wenna, how dare you?" I gave him a sidelong glance and snapped my fingers. Immediately, a waiter appeared. "May I take your order?" I pointed at Lucien. "I remember this place is members only." "Why is he allowed in?" Lucien was stunned instantly. The woman beside him immediately appeared, bowing and scraping to Alan and me. Sorry, I was just passing by for a meal today, didn't mean to disturb you. She grabbed Lucian, hurry up and come with me. Lucian shook her off, who do you think you are, bossing me around like that? The woman didn't hesitate to slap him across the face. Do you still think you're some precious young master? Come with me now, or you'll regret it later. Lucian wasn't used to being treated like this and started arguing with her on the spot, only to be kicked out by the waiter. I watched his retreating figure and smiled. Did you guys sell him out? Alan shrugged, a brainless guy whose only final value is for marriage alliances. That woman is a downstream supplier, with her around, costs can be cut by 20%. I shrugged too. That's true, Lucian may not be very bright, but he does have a decent appearance. Even though he was once a man I loved, seeing him in such a pitiful state now doesn't shake me in the slightest. This is all his own doing. Alan and I exchanged smiles. With money and a house, this life is fulfilled. Scumbag, never to be seen again.